So we'll go from there. Hello, everyone. So tonight I want to have our first ever dream session. And that may sound kind of wonky. You may think this is going to be crazy. I don't know what you're thinking, but I feel very strongly that there's some real power in dreaming and in vision casting and in seeing yourself in a future that you want to be a part of. Not just a future that you were brought to, that life brought you to, but one that you created. And I want to start out just with a quick prayer. Okay, so Lord, we come to you asking that you fill this space, that you give me the words, that you come into our hearts and into our minds to reveal to us the future that you want us to have. Lord, that you will make it very clear what our talents are, God, that you make them very evident to us, and that you show us so gently how we can use those for your glory in our businesses, in our futures. Lord, that you make it very clear our purpose. God, I pray that you bless this evening and this dreaming session, Lord, that it would be all for you and that you would have your word spoken. Lord, I pray that you guide over us in our businesses and that you help us to see the steps that we need to take, Lord. And I pray that you will always come first in that. It's in your son's name I pray. Amen. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen and pull up my Prezi. Okay. Can everyone see that okay? Give me a thumbs up. Yes, no, maybe so. Cool. Okay. All right. So our first ever dream session. The question is when did we forget to dream? Like, who told us to stop dreaming? Where did that come from? Like, somewhere, as a kid, we would dream all the time. And it costs us nothing to dream. But the truth is it costs us everything if we don't. But somewhere along the line, like, life got in the way and told us, you've got to be realistic and you've got to fit into the role that society gives you. And if you're born middle class, you've got to stay middle class because these are the rules we're given. We somehow tell ourselves that this is what life has given me and this is as good as it's going to get. And to think outside of those roles is kind of scary. But right now, this is not at all about what you've told yourself about reality, what your parents may have told you, what your family may have told you about who you're going to be, what job you're going to have, what life you're going to lead, who you're going to help in your life. This is very much about what you want, about endless possibilities. Because imagination with conviction is more powerful than intelligence over and over and over again. We can be super intelligent and put ourselves in a small box and completely forget our potential and live within an intelligence box of this is the most rational decision to make. And this is very practical where I'm going to be. But I'm asking you tonight to strip that away and allow yourself to think deeper. And when that happens, fear is going to happen. It's just very natural. Lots of fears are going to pop up, like, what if I fall? What if I fail? What if I set all these huge, big dreams and it's really stupid and I wind up not meeting them and life sucks and all this stuff. Normal for these thoughts to come up. I will tell you, I've had the fear of being rich. I've had the fear of what that means about me because I've had so many stereotypes about what that means my entire life. Fear is going to look different for all of us, but it is so very, very normal. So the question is what do we do with these fears when they come up? As I'm asking you to think deeply and to think about your future, when you start to have a doubt, there's normally a fear behind it. And I'm going to ask you to pay really close attention to what that is, because we need to identify what that fear is instead of just letting it rule us. Identify that fear, write that fear down, like write it down right then so you don't lose sight of it. And then replace that with an affirmation of, I'm afraid of failure. Well, I'm going to fail if I don't try, so why not just try? You have to replace that with a positive affirmation of some kind. No, I am good at this. No, I am a good leader. Replace it with an affirmation. And then repeat it again and again and again and again until you have replaced that fear with an affirmation that is positive and moving you forward. So that is the plan for what we're going to do with fear tonight, because it is inevitable. It will pop up. Okay. And we've got to get our mind right. You know what we've been doing this whole month with September Shift, reading What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. We have to get our minds right, because doubt kills more dreams than failure ever, 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 ever will. If we tell ourselves we're not going to do it from the beginning, if we tell ourselves that these goals, these dreams, these ideas are way too big, we're never going to get there, period. So in the book, there's these 5 steps. Programming creates belief. If we program ourselves to believe that these are possible, that I'm making realistic goals, that these are things that I can really do, then that belief very much creates an attitude of, yes, I can. And that attitude very much creates feelings about how things are going. Like the feeling you have about the people you reach out to is going to very much shift your actions toward them. If you have a feeling that this is going to work out, you're going to talk to them in a different way. You're going to talk to them with this optimistic view and in a different tone to them than you even realize. So that feeling is going to determine your action. Or that feeling, if it's negative, is going to determine whether or not you even reach out to people like, you need to. It may say, well, it's not going to work out anyway. They're not going to want to join, or they're too busy, or they think I'm just selling something. That feeling is very much determining your action. And that action is what's going to create results. Sometimes I think that we get caught up in step 5. Like we tell ourselves, okay, we're ready to do this, and all we have to do is our IPA every single day, and we have to make sure we've got good goals, and we have to make sure that we're doing this, and all the things. But we forget that 1 through 4 impacts all of that. And we find ourselves going, now why in the world did I not do any IPA this entire week, this entire month? Why is my business stagnant? It's because we have forgotten steps 1 through 4. We've got to get those things right, or we're never going to do the things, step 5, that it takes to get us on the road to where we want to be, on the road to Emerald, or on the road to Ruby, or whatever goal you're working toward. Because in the end, we realize that it is just a matter of doing all the things that it takes and all those important action steps that's going to create the result that we're looking for. But again, we've got to get that programming straight, and we've got to know what we're working toward that gives us this belief and this why that powers us through doing the actions. Cool. All right. So we've got to have vision. We have to have a vision for where we want to go. We have to feel and think everything about it. So I want to show you this video. And if you can't hear it, give me like a thumbs down or something. I can see Angie and Casey right now. So you two specifically, I need to see a down if you can't hear it, okay? Oops. It's loading.
When I lost my legs, one of the toughest periods was when I stood up in my legs for the first time, because they were so painful and they were so confining that I thought, how am I ever going to live this life of my dreams? How am I ever going to travel the world? How am I ever going to snowboard again? And that day, this was the first day I'd stood up in my legs, I was so emotionally and physically broken that I crawled into bed and I didn't get out for a good 15 hours. I just laid in bed, completely exhausted, could not wrap my head around the fact that this is my life and I have to navigate my life with these like hunks of hardware as my legs that barely move, that are so uncomfortable.
And I'm sure there's a part of you that you're anticipating, okay, I'm going to get my new legs. I'm getting my legs. My legs are coming.
Yeah. And I thought, these are my legs that I'm living in the rest of my life. So emotionally, physically, mentally, just broken, drained. And it was times like those, though, like times where I think I had just hit a point where I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I didn't allow myself to sit in that spot too long. I can't. I'm just not that type of person. I have to keep moving somehow. So I hit this point where I realized my legs are not coming back. I mean, they're not coming back. And there's nothing I can do about this situation right now. And it was that moment that kind of prompted me to ask myself this question. If my life was a book and I was the author, how would I want this story to go? And I thought, well, I don't want to see myself as this sad, disabled girl. I know that. I don't want other people to see me as that either. And I thought, what do I want to see? I want to see myself walking again gracefully. And I wanted to see myself somehow sharing, somehow helping other people through this journey. And I saw myself snowboarding again. And I visualized it so strongly in that moment that I didn't just see myself carving down this mountain of powder. I could feel it. I could feel the wind against my face. I could feel the beat of my racing heart. I could feel my muscles twitching as if it was happening in that very moment. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that I was going to do it.
That's incredible. That's incredible. That is incredible.
And now I try to live my life with that knowingness that if you can see it and you can feel it and you believe it, then it is completely possible.
Okay. She said if you can see it and you can feel it, then it is so possible. Like, how in the world can she do what she did, not having legs, and we think that we can't have our desires for life? She very much had a vision for where she wanted to go. She could have stayed in bed. She could have wallowed. She could have let herself get down, but she set a vision for herself. She envisioned where she was going to be, and she made it happen. She made it happen. And I really think that there is power in envisioning where we're going to be. So with that being said, this is the pen and paper portion. What will October 2017 look like? Forget this year. Like, you are sitting in October 2017 right in this very second. So what does that look like? What does it look like in your life physically, mentally, spiritually? What is your family, friends, relationships? What do those look like? In your career, your money, your adventure, your recreation, your service, your contribution. I want to play a video really quickly. I have to exit out of here because I couldn't figure out how it's a Facebook video, but I want to play this for you. Speaking of service and contribution, Sarah Marble
and your entire team, we just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We are here in India, and you guys have changed 25 beautifully precious boys and girls this morning. We just opened and dedicated your home. Everything that you have done has been remarkable. These kids have been saved off of the streets and given a home for the very first time. The house parent literally in tears, cried before me today and said for the first time these kids have had a bed. They've never laid their head on an actual pillow before. They've slept on concrete. So you guys have changed lives. 25 children's lives are forever changed because of you, and we thank you for that. This is your beautiful home, and we're so excited for what you've done. Thank you so much.
It was so amazing to even be able to be here today. We actually changed our schedule around today so that I could even be here with Gabe to open your house, Sarah. It is so amazing to see your picture back here. You guys are just doing an amazing job with the Plexus team. So proud of you guys. You guys are rock stars.
If you don't believe that something like this can happen to you, or that you can be responsible for something like that, man, like, that's huge. That is what we can do. Like, that is what we're capable of. That is a service contribution that we could be participating in 2017. I'm sure when Sarah Marble started, she didn't think, oh, I'm going to open a home in India for children. I'm going to open an orphanage. I'm sure she didn't think that that was possible. I'm sure if you would have told her when she started that she was going to do that, she probably would have laughed in your face. I know I would laugh in your face if you told me what I'm going to be doing in 2017. It is amazing what can happen if you set your mind to it. Like, this is like just one thing. I know that there are hundreds upon thousands of other things that Plexus ambassadors are doing that we have no idea about. I know Tamara works really closely with the gym's Thrive House, as do several other gyms and Jules and the company. It's a home in Thailand for sex traffic victims. So what does your 2017 look like? If it's not opening a home by then, like, what does that 2017 look like? Are you buying out a Walmart of all of their sleeping bags to give to the homeless? Are you giving to a local adoption? Are you helping a couple adopt some child that they don't have the money for? What does that look like to you? And like, I want you to seriously write down these things. Like, be thinking, what does this look like? Because I want you to write out a narrative of I will be doing this. Not will be. You're writing it as if you are in October 2017. I am helping with this today. My family is going on a trip to Disney World. I'm at Harry Potter World sipping butterbeer and loving life because I'm on vacation all the time. I don't have to go back to work because I was able to quit my job because Plexus is giving me 3 times the amount of income that I thought that I would ever have in my life. I am able to spend so much more time with my family. I'm at home with my kids. I'm at home with my husband, my friends, more, whatever it is to you. What is family, friends, and relationships? How's 2017 going to look? Spiritually, where are you at? Are you praying daily? Are you working toward a goal between you and God that you've wanted to for a long time? Have you read through the whole Bible? Where do you want to be? What is 2017 looking like for you? Mentally, where are you? Are you leading a team? Are you stronger emotionally than you've ever been? Are you a leader for other people? Do people look at you like you currently look at Tamra or Celeste Gwynn or Sonia Dudley? Like, is that you? Are people kind of like coming up to you like you're famous and you don't understand why? Are you walking across stage at convention, at leaders retreat? Are you coming home with a big check? Are you snorkeling in Hawaii for free with your friends? Like maybe you just got your Lexus and you're smelling the leather and you've got your hands on the steering wheel and all of your team is surrounding you and you're telling them, I can't wait for this to be you. You can feel the felt of the big red bow. Like, I need you to put yourself there in that moment with that joy. And when you do it, you kind of start crying because it's real life. Like, I couldn't see myself here, and I wish that I had done vision casting before. Because I want all of you to have that. What about this? Did you walk out of your resort to go to dinner and you walk out the door, put your feet in the sand, and you look up and your breath is taken away? Like, literally, you go, oh my goodness, look at that sky. And then you just sit there and take it in. Like, put yourself on the beach right now. Like, shut your eyes if you need to. You're on the beach, toes in the sand. You look up and you see the sky and you're thinking, what? What are you feeling? Who are you with? Who are you bringing with you to Hawaii? What is it going to mean to you to have this trip? What does that look like for your family? Is your family there with you? What about this? Are you someone who loves the idea of the recognition of walking across stage and being on stage and your team looking down at you on the stage and they're so proud of you and you can't even believe it's happening? Like, imagine it, feel it. This is going to be you. Are you able to give out of the abundance of your heart because your team worked so hard to make a goal happen? Like, what are you giving to? Who are you blessing with this business, with this gift we've been given? Put yourself there. Like, my next goal, my next service contribution, I've just been thinking and praying about it. And the truth is we can start with a goal. We can start with an idea of where we want to be, and we kind of get there and then we kind of lose it. We have to be constantly reinventing our why, or it just kind of falls flat and we lose sight of it. Or if you make your goal so big that it doesn't feel tangible for right now, then that's not going to be what picks you up and drives you each day. So like I had to make a smaller goal, for right now, this next year in 2017, I'm going to go on a mission trip, and I'm going to be able to bring thousands of dollars with me to do something tangible with. Like, I don't know what it is yet. I don't know where I'm going, but I know this is where I'm going to be. I know I'm going to be doing something really great with what I've been given. That is something that we can be working toward. Like, what does freedom look like to you? So I'm going to shut up and let's take 3 minutes and write down where you see yourself in these areas. Physically, I kind of forgot to go over that. Like, physically, have you set the goal to learn yoga, to walk a mile a day, to train for a half marathon, to train for a 5K? Have you been meeting your weight goals, your health goals? What's that look like? What do you want? And again, this is for you. You don't have to necessarily share it, but it's widely encouraged that you do. And you're all muted right now, so I cannot hear you. No one else can hear you unless there's someone, of course, in the room with you. But I really encourage you to write that down and then say it out loud to yourself. Like, reread out loud. There is power in saying things out loud. Power in saying, I will be doing this, and my family will look like this, and I will be out of debt, and I will be financially free. I will be planning my future dream home. I will be driving my Lexus, and it's smelling the leather. Like, write that down and speak it back to yourself. If not right now, later. But I want to give you some time just to do that real quick, okay? Leslie Zan, who originally opened my eyes to vision casting, she said, most people won't take the time to be a supportive player in their own life. Oh, like, are we being a supportive player in our own life, or are we just letting life happen and we're just in survival mode and we're just taking each day at a time, or are we moving towards something? So her goal for you would to be active in your role and know where you're going, know what you're working toward. Sarah Robbins, she has a fantastic video that I will post later if you haven't watched already. It's one of the prerequisites for Jess's group that's coming up. And if you haven't sent in your stuff for that yet, I highly encourage you to do that as soon as possible, because the group is filling up really quickly. But Sarah Robbins says that because of our obedience, someone else is being blessed. So in 2017, what are you being obedient to that is resulting in someone else's huge blessing? Like, what kid in India has a home now because you were obedient to your plan and to God's plan for your life? And this whole plexus thing, how does that fit in? Okay, so for the sake of your time, I won't keep you on this page for long, but hopefully you wrote down these and you can really pour into them later and make them real and tangible and give yourself a money goal, but we'll get there. So, goal setting. I did not realize how important goal setting was until Jess made me write down my goals. She made me spell them out. And what that did, it did a couple things. It helped me to see tangibly where I was going, and it helped me to see how much work I was going to have to do to make that happen. Because before, I was just work, do all the things, and I thought that I was doing enough, but I realized that I was just work. Busy, everyone is busy. Like, that is just a term, busy. You can be a mother of 12 and still be a plexus diamond and be really busy. And I can be a single sunny working a part-time job and still say I'm busy. Like, busy is just a relative term. Like, it's what it means to you. So if you have a plan and you have a goal right in front of you and you know where you're going, you'll find the time. That's just all there is to it. So writing down the goals helped me make it practical. And it set something into motion. It's that programming that we talked about before, that I saw that it was tangible and I saw what I needed to do, and it was programmed in my mind that I wrote this down. Emerald is going to happen. And it did. And you just have to keep working toward that. The timeline may change. Things may get a little off. Part of it was a huge fear. I had to pinpoint the fear that if I wrote this down, this means that it has to happen. And if it doesn't happen exactly how I write it down, that's going to be failure. And it's not. It's not. We just readjust and keep moving forward. So, which one of these are you working toward? Maybe you don't want to be emerald. I think everyone on this call wants to be emerald and diamond eventually. So I don't know why I'm saying that, but maybe your specific goal is not to have those things, but maybe it is. I know for a fact that most diamonds are making sometimes 3 times that. Celeste Gwynn is making a whole lot more than that per month. But again, these are monthly averages. Like, tell yourself when you're making that vision cast, like, what is it going to look like for $10,000 to be dropped into my bank account every single month? What is that going to look like? For me, what is it going to look like when I have $40,000 dropped into my account every single month? What does that mean about your life, where you live, where your kids go to school, all that? Just think about that. Okay, and then if you have not saved this chart in your phone in your favorites of pictures, I don't know how you're living right now. Like, I look at this thing all the time. Like, I'll even forget, okay, now Sally Joe, she's working towards senior gold, and I'll go back and go, okay, that was 250 points. She's at 210 this month. We got to have this many more to get her to 250 next month. What can I do to help her? It's not just about you. It's about how you are helping your teammates make these happen. So I look back at them often, and I'm, of course, always having my eye on the sapphire, right? Like, this is going to happen Okay. All right. Goal setting. Oh, you cannot, well, they need to be specific. Like, I'm working toward this, and I'll show you the chart in a minute, but specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Most of you on this call know this, but this is for those who aren't. They have to be attainable. So you cannot be just starting and say, I'm going to be gold tomorrow, or I'm going to be gold in a month, unless you plan to fast start, unless you realize that is adding 20 people in your first 30 days to reach fast start. If not, I mean, you've got to have 20 people this month. So then they'll be worth points the next month, because their first month with the welcome pack, they're not worth points. So they need to be attainable goals. You can't say, I'm going to be Emerald in 3 months. Like, that's not reasonable. You can have a great vision, but like some of it's just logistics. Like, that's not going to happen. So they also need to be time bound. That's why we're going to look at it like this breakdown. I wish I could remember where my pointer was, but you've got a year goal. Start with this month. Start with the goal that you have for rank, and the points that you need to make that happen. So between now and next month, by November 30th, you need to have 50 more points in order to be gold. So that means you need 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. You need 10 more people, because each person in your first levels 1 through 3 are worth 5 points each. So you're going to need 10 more people on your team, 10 more people that you add this month so that you can be gold the next month. Write down where you're at, where your points are ending this month, so that you know, okay, I'm going to tell myself, if I am senior gold this month and I'm working toward Ruby, I want to add enough people to be 3/4 of the way there. Okay. And so you add up those points. And this chart it gives you how many silver, you need 3 ambassadors. And starting October 1, you just need 3 ambassadors who have a welcome pack or have 100 PV. And then, for gold, it says on there 20 ambassadors, and you need 100 points. Now, you may have to get 30 ambassadors to have 20 active ambassadors. So just keep that in mind. But these are rough numbers. So like, for me, I have well over 900 people. If they were all active, I would for sure be diamond by now, but that's not how it works. So you know that if you need 50 people for senior gold or 250 points, you're going to want to shoot higher than 50. But these are rough ideas to give you ideas of how many people you need to be working toward. So write down these monthly goals, the goal you want to be at month 3, month 6, and 1 year, and make them tangible. Break it down into logical points. Like, how is your team moving right now? And if you're bumping up that goal, what does that mean for the work that you're putting in? Like, are you going to commit to putting in more time than you're putting in now in order to make it happen? What's that going to look like? That's why making your goal very specific is important, because you want to set yourself a monthly rank goal, but you want to set monthly goals. Like, not just, I want to add so many people, but like, what are you going to do to get that? You want to add so many people, you want to have so much PV, but I've got to post twice daily. I've got to reach out to X amount of people. I've got to watch X amount of videos per month. That's the measurable stuff. That's where we're making it very specific on what we're going to do to make this happen. If I know that I've been adding on average 2 people per month, but I've only been reaching out to 10, and I want to add 4 people next month, I probably need to reach out to 20 people in that month to get those 2 extra people. That makes sense? We've got to really envision what we're doing and really break it down to make it happen. Okay. So that is it for goal setting for right now. And again, you've got to get your mind right. If you're writing that goal down and you're thinking, it's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to write it down anyway. Well, I can't even say that that's probably not fair because I wrote down Emerald and went, not going to happen. I really wanted to. Not going to happen. And it totally did. But I believed that it was possible that I could do it. So that's the difference. I believed, and I told myself, like I said this on a call the other night, that my whole journey has been, I'll figure it out. Like, I'll get to this point, I'll get over a fear, and I'll figure out what to do next. And I am not a network marketing guru. You guys are not network marketing gurus. Some of you have had more experience in network marketing than others, but like, we are just figuring it out as we go along. That's good programming, in my opinion. You do not have to go into this thinking I'm an expert and I know everything. You just go in saying, I'm going to take the next right step for my business. You may be completely freaked out about having your first opportunity meeting, but once you get there, you'll do the research. You'll watch others. You'll go to opportunity meetings. You'll figure out how to do it. You'll figure it out as you go along. Just take the next step and don't freak yourself out. That's why we make those 1 month goal, 3, 6, and year, because you're not going straight from silver to emerald. It's a lot of steps in between. So breaking it down helps a lot. But programming in that it's possible creates that belief that creates your attitude, and your attitude creates your feelings, your actions, and then doing all the things is what's going to get you to emerald and beyond. Okay. So throughout this, I need you to hang on closely to that why of yours. That vision that you saw where you're going to be next year, I need you to hang on to that because it gets hard. Times they're not always fun. There's hard things that we have to do. You just have to hang on to that hope that something that it's going to work out. I'm looking over my notes right now. That's why I'm kind of stuttering through it. But you can't just hope your way there. A hope is something that might happen, and expectation is something that will happen. And I expect that your guys' goals are going to happen, and we have to expect that for ourselves. You have to hang on to that why because it gets tough. And I very much believe in you guys. I want to speak these things specifically over you. You are more than conquerors. You are finishers. You are influential. You are fantastic leaders. You have what people need. You are a difference maker, and you are stronger than your fear. And you are going to have a fantastic October. I just want you to hear that. It's going to be Rocktober for sure. And ta-da! This is sort of our brief, quick dream session that doesn't end here. Like, it very much continues on. So thank you guys so much for being on this. I love you guys. I'm going to stop my share, my screen, and come back to you. And I'm going to stop recording now. You guys have a great night.